All right, so it is 10 o'clock. Let us begin. Welcome, everyone. My name is Sridhar with Apsona, and we have today the pleasure of a webinar by our good colleague, Rachel Natik, who is an expert in the Salesforce area. She's 5 times certified with Salesforce. She's presented at Dreamforce. She's worked with a lot of our customers, and she's really good at tackling problems and presenting solutions to people. And so she will talk today about our document generation add-on. And before I hand it over to her, I will talk a little bit about our product offering. Let me share my screen here. And so here is a little blurb. Okay, a little bit of technical difficulty here trying to figure out the way the Zoom UI works. So here's a short little PowerPoint talking about what we are. We are Apsona.com. We are a Salesforce App Exchange ISV partner. We have been on the App Exchange since 2011. We have quite a number of customers and users, as you can see from this slide here. We have very good ratings on the App Exchange. Our products work on all Force.com apps, accounting, CEDN, PSP, EDA, you name it. Here's a bunch of our customers that are actively using Apsona and one or more of our products, shall we say. Here is a product stack, the kinds of things that we offer. There is a core product called Apsona for Salesforce, which offers data management capabilities, reporting, and things like that. On top of this core product is are built all of these bits. There's a document generation add-on, which Rachel will talk about today. There is a Multistep reports add-on. There's charts and dashboards. There is a dedupe and match add-on. There's a scheduler, an email connector. And for nonprofits, we have a credit card connector with IATs and a batch gift entry tool. All of these apps are extremely easy to install and, of course, easy to remove. So if you don't like it, you just uninstall it and it all goes away without a trace. It's completely Salesforce native. Your data never leaves your org, and therefore it's completely secure, works entirely in the browser. Because there are no third-party servers involved, there's securities, the maximum of security and speed, because there's no network latency involved in all of these products. And that's about it. I will stop here and hand it over to Rachel. Rachel, I'm gonna, let me stop my screen here. Rachel, take it away. And thank you so much.
All righty, thank you, Sridhar. That was a nice introduction to Apsona. And I think every time you share that part of how long you've been around, it reminds me that I know you guys almost since the beginning of both our Salesforce journeys. So it's a pleasure to be part of that.
This is absolutely true.
So good afternoon and good morning, everyone. My name is Rachel Natik, and I'm delighted to present today's webinar with Apsona. Sridhar gave you a little bit of my background. You can see it here on the slide deck. I come with 9 years of experience with Salesforce. I have 5 certifications, and I am an avid traveler. Excuse me. In today's webinar, we are going to look at just a few slides, and then we're going to jump and get hands-on deep with the demo. Today, we're going to look at a fictitious company called Rachel Generators. They provide generators and installations to companies across America. They are in need of an email merge to send monthly invoices to their clients. Each client can have 1 or more deals, which are opportunities in Salesforce, and we need to generate a separate invoice for each of those invoices. We're sticking to a very simple use case here, but the concepts that you learned today can be applied to a variety of scenarios. The basic functions that we're going to show you are functions that I use every day in all different types of merges that need to be created. If any of you are from a nonprofit, what you're learning today can be redirected to create tax letters directly through Apsona using the data that you have in Salesforce. So the data model we're going to work with today, again, we're keeping this very basic. We have accounts, so there are clients in the system. Each of our clients can have one or more opportunities, which are the deals that we closed with them. Each of those opportunities can have one or more products, and a product can be an actual generator that we're selling to them, or it could be an installation service that we're providing them with. So how do we go about and create this merge? So there's a few components to pull this together. To begin, of course, we're going to need the invoice template. So that's the actual file or the structure of the file that we want to send to our clients. You're going to see how we format that in Word. There's a lot of flexibility there. The next thing that we need is the email template. And that is what will the email read when the client opens it. So, you know, the hello, here attaches your invoice and so forth. Then we're going to need 2 reports to collect the data that we wish to merge. The first report, which we often call the base report or source report, is going to list out the opportunities that need to be invoiced. Then we're going to have a second report that will list out the product line items that need to show up on the invoice. When we create the merge, we're going to link those 2 reports together so that each invoice represents a single opportunity with a list of product line items on it. If I were to only create one report listing out the product line items, I would end up with an invoice for every single product line item, and that's not what we want. We want one invoice per opportunity with a list of product line items on it. As you'll see in today's demo, whenever we're creating a merge that needs to list out a subset of records, we're going to need 2 reports to generate that. So let's get rid of our slides and jump straight into our demo. Oops. It's all right. Okay, so you can see here that I am in Salesforce. I'm just using a demo org for today's demo. And we're going to take a look at the Express Logistics and Transport account. And you can see that if I go to the related tab here, they have a few opportunities that we have with them. And you can see that 2 of them are actually closed in the current month. We're going to go ahead and click on this opportunity to see more information about it. You can see here that there are 2 products related to this opportunity. The first one here is 2 generators, and here we have an installation fee. So let's go ahead and look at this, and it's pretty simple. It's the product, so what are we selling to them? How much does it cost? How many are they purchasing? Oopsies. How many are they purchasing? And so the total cost is $200,000. So we're going to need to produce an invoice for this opportunity, which would list out these 2 product line items. And like I mentioned, we're going to have 2 reports for that. One will be for the opportunity to be invoiced. The second will be for the line items that go on the invoice. So to start, let's go over to Apsona here. The first report we're going to create is going to be on the opportunity object. So within Apsona, we got these little tabs here, which give us the data within Apsona. We'll go to Reports and click New to create a new report. And I'm going to simply call my report current month ops for invoice. And just put in demo here so I know this is what I created for our demo. And I highly encourage you to use the description field because as you use Apsona, you're going to build a lot of reports and you want to be able to know the context of this report. So this Alrighty, so I just gave it a little description. Now what you can see here is that this is where we're going to build out the form, and I've got 3 tabs starting with table data. And this is where I select the fields or columns that I would like in my report. Now you might be familiar with Salesforce reporting, and Apsona has a lot of those features and more. I'm not going to focus on the features, just highlighting that right now, because I'm building the report from the opportunity object, I have all my opportunity fields here. So I'm on the opportunity object with all the fields here. Now, Apsona allows you to include fields from parent and children objects. So I can actually go over to the account level and pull in fields from the account level. So I'm actually going to do that. We're going to include the account ID and the account name. And then going back to the opportunity, let's go ahead and select some fields from the opportunity level. So we'll put in the amount, we'll put in the close date, and we'll put in the opportunity ID. Going back to the account, I'm going to pull in the billing information. So we want things like their billing address, their billing email, and so forth. So let's just grab that. Street, city, state, zip, email. Now I just want to draw your attention to, oops, I left out the opportunity name. Let's put in the opportunity name. So notice that the opportunity name just says the name because I'm on opportunity, so it's just the name of the opportunity. And I don't want anyone to get confused about what this name represents. So I'm actually just going to rename that to opt name. So I'm not renaming it in Salesforce, I'm just renaming it within this report itself. And you also were able to see that I can just, drag fields around to reorder them. Now I'm going to go over to the filter terms tab here. And this is where I put in the criteria for my report. And very simply, we're just going to look for opportunities that are closed this month. So we're going to say that the close date equals the current month. And so you can see that the filters here are really intuitive, that it gives me all these options of, what time period am I looking for, or I can even select a specific date range. Now, finally here, one of my favorite things that differs Apsona from Salesforce is that I can sort this report on various fields. So first I'm going to sort it by account name in ascending order, and then I'm going to sort it by opportunity name in ascending order. So that's how the opportunities are going to be listed. So let's go ahead and click Save and Run. And so you can see that I've got 6 reports, 6 opportunities that closed this month. And you can see here that even Express Logistics actually has 2 opportunities. We saw them before, and here are the opportunity names. Great. So now let's go ahead and build that second report, which is going to list the product line items. And so to do that, I'm going to go to Opportunity Product here and click Reports. Again, I'm going to click New to create a new report. And we're going to call this Op Product for Invoice and put in a little description. Alrighty, and now we can see that we have the same structure here where we default to opportunity products and we can fill in opportunity product fields. So we're going to pull in the ID. We're going to pull in the product name. We'll pull in the quantity. And we'll pull in the price. So we're going to pull in the price field, the sales price, and then the total price, which is based off of the quantity. Now going to the opportunity level here, we're just going to pull in the opportunity name and the ID. And again here, just to be clear about which name field this is, I'm going to add in op here. Now the key point here is that I added in the opportunity ID. And remember that in the other reports, I also put in the opportunity ID. And what this will then do is I will be able to link these 2 reports by matching on the opportunity ID. And you'll see that when we create the actual merge, I'm going to say, take these items from this report and link them to the opportunity from the first report. So let's go ahead and wrap up this report. So we're going to also look for products that are linked to opportunities that the close date is this month. And I can sort them as well by the opportunity maybe, and then by the product name. So let's go ahead and run this, and you'll see that I have 13 products here. And they all relate to different opportunities you can see over here. Great. So now we have to go ahead and create that template for the invoice that we want to send out to our client. So over here, I've got the design that I want to use, and we're going to go ahead and make some changes to it so that we can use it for our template. So I'm just gonna do save a copy so that I can make the changes and not affect my original. And what you're going to see is that we have two parts to this template. We have general information, like who is this going to? And then we have a table here, a list of products that we want to include in this invoice. So what we're going to start is with creating the merge fields for the general information. So what's a merge field? It's really just a placeholder. It's telling Apsona that, you know, we want to put some data here. So we're going to put what's actually called a merge field, where we're going to merge the data. And so to do that, I'm going to go to Insert, and then go to Quick Parts here, and select Fields. And then in this list, I'm going to select Merge Fields. And I can call the merge field whatever I want. So it doesn't actually need to match the field name or data in Salesforce. I can call it whatever I want and then map it directly in Apsona, which means that in Apsona, I'm going to say this merge field gets the data from this data in Salesforce. So I'm just going to go ahead and call this date, very simple. And you'll see that it got inserted as a merge field. Now that was actually like quite a tedious process to put in the merge field. So I'm going to go ahead and use a shortcut. I'm on a PC and the shortcut is Alt-IF, the letter I, the letter F, and the letter MM. So Alt-IF and M brings me straight over here. And this we're gonna call company name. And I can really just name these merge fields whatever I want. They can have a space, they can or not, it doesn't really matter. So here I'm going to do street. I'm just going to do this a little quickly, just put in the different merge fields that we need here. Put in the state, and then finally the zip. And so now I could just remove this line. I can change the photo here. So let's do that. Give me a moment. Just going to grab a photo that I have on my computer. There we go. My company address is here, and that's great. And now let's take a look at what we're going to do here. So like I said, this is the table of products, the list of products that we want to include in our invoice. And as you can guess, the items here are going to be pulled from that second report that we created. So we need to be able to tell Apsona that there's a table here, so that there should be several line items, and that these items should be pulled from a specific report. So we use a special merge tag that's called table start. So let's go to my merge field. Alrighty, let me do this again. Sometimes I don't select the right buttons. There we go. And we're going to say table start. So we're telling Apsona that there's a table start in here. And then we give our table a name, in which in this case we can just call it items. And then we can go ahead using and map the actual fields that we want here. So what's the data that we want in each line? So here we want the product name. So let's go ahead and do product name. And here we want the quantity. And here we're going to put in the unit price. And now we're going to tell Apsona, okay, we started our table. We're going to list products out. We're going to list, and we're going to put the product name, the quantity, the price, and the cost. And here's where our table line ends. And so we just put in a closing merge tag that's called table end. So again, what we're telling Apsona here is that we're going to have a group of records that are going to produce in several lines. And in each of those records, we're going to merge the product name, the quantity, the price, and the cost. And so now I can actually go ahead and remove these extra rows here because Apsona will automatically create the rows based on the amount of records that I have. Now, over here, I want to get a total of all the products that I have listed out here. So to do that, I'm going to tell Apsona, I have this table called items. I have a field called cost. Get me the sum of all the costs listed. And again, we're using the merge field option to do that. And I'm really just going within the table of items, find the cost, and sum all the values. And you can see that that matches up to the table name items, the merge field cost, and sum is the function. That's the action we wanted to take. So let's go ahead and click OK. We'll save the merge template, and now we can upload it to Salesforce. This always catches me. You actually need to close the file in order to upload it. Now, merge templates are uploaded to documents within Salesforce. And documents are not available in Lightning. And you can see that I'm actually using Lightning now. And so what Apsona has done, they've given us the documents option directly within Apsona. So you can see I've got documents here. And when I click on all records, a list of my documents will appear. And I have the upload option here as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and choose the file that I need. And we're going to select that file that we just created today. I'm going to choose the folder that it goes into. Side note, you are not able to create the folders directly in Lightning. I already had these folders created from classic days. Alrighty, so my template is now loaded, and we're going to go and create that email template. Now, in the interest of time, I've actually gone ahead and created an email template. So let's just go take a look at it. I went to, using the gear icon, I went to the setup menu, and under email here, I have classic email templates. And you'll see here that we've got the product invoice. So I already created the template, kept it very simple. You can see that I have two merge fields here. Now, if you're familiar with the the email creation, you have the ability to create merge fields here. My main takeaway here is that the data will not automatically pull from the objects and field that you select a merge field from. We are going to map it in Apsona. So I'm just using these as placeholders that I'm then going to map in Apsona. We're going to put the opportunity amount here, and we're going to put the current user's name over here. Great. So now let's go ahead and work our magic. We're going to go to the first report that we created and create and generate the merge from there. So going here to the report, I'm going to click Run. I'm going to click Merge Mail, and you can see I don't have a saved merge. We're going to create a new merge. Once I create it, I'll be able to use it repeatedly. We have different types of merges. We're going to select the email and document merge, and the little help text here explains that this is a email that will have an attachment, a document attached. So let's go ahead and click Next. And we can see that the template actually picked up the one we need right away, but otherwise I would select the template that we need. And now I need to select my output format. And because this is going as an email, it's more professional to have it as a PDF. And what is my PDF going to be called? We're going to use the op name as the PDF file name. Here we have the email options. So I need to select the email template that we're going to use. So the one we just looked at. We identify the field within the report that is going to be used to send the emails. And then we can choose the sender. So you have two options. By default, it'll be the sender, the person who generates the merge. Or you can have like organization-wide email to like info@RachelGenerators or accounting@RachelGenerators that you have to set up beforehand. The reply to is pretty nifty. This means that if they reply to the email, who should it go to? So maybe I, as Rachel, want to send out the email, but if they have questions, I want them to go to accounting. So I can actually set the reply to here as accounting@RachelGenerators.com. I'm not going to do that for now. Alrighty, so what's the next step in our merge? Here's where we do the mapping. So you can see here that we have the top level fields. Those are the fields from the template that are going to be mapped to fields in this report. And you can see that, you know, I called this city, but it's mapping to billing city from the report. The date actually is not in the report. I'm going to use system field, which allows me to pull in today's date. So that's kind of like some of the nifty thing about Apsona is I can pull this data here. Let's go ahead and pull in the city, the account name, the state, and the zip. Alrighty, so we have those fields mapped. And now here's where the magic happens. You see this little box here? This is Apsona saying, hey, we detected a table in your template. The table is called items. Where do we pull that data from? We know that we're pulling that from the second report that we created. So let's go pull in that second report from product reports, and this is this one. Now that we told them which report the data is coming from, we could map the merge field to data from that report. So we've got the product name, we've got the price, we've got the quantity, and we've got the cost. Now, the most important thing here is now we're going to tell Apsona how to link these two reports together. So for every every opportunity created that we want to create a merge for, we want to list the product line items based off of the opportunity ID. So go into the linkage here. Apsona is going to offer us all the IDs that we can match on, and we're going to match on the opportunity ID. So we're really saying, from this report here, in the background, we have the opportunity ID, and in the second report, look for products and maps that are listed on the same opportunity. Now, the next step here is mapping the merge field from the template, from the email template. So we're using just the amount field, and then here we're going to use the current user's name. So system field, user's name. And so whoever is running the merge is who will show up here. Let's go ahead and click next. Apsona has different logging options. So for example, you could log a task every time you run a merge. You could set a field on maybe the opportunity object. Maybe you want to record when the invoice was sent. But I'm actually going to go to email options here, and I'm going to save the activity history for each email on the opportunity record. And so that allows me to be on the opportunity and see when that invoice was sent out. And I'll show you in the formatting options, you have two formatting options here. You can determine how the date should show up, and you can determine how currency fields should show up. So I'm going to leave it for the default, and I'm just going to give this action a name. We're going to call it monthly invoice merge, email merge. So this is just how we identify this merge action whenever we need to use it. And I'll go ahead and do save and run. So the system is working and it's sending out those emails. Alrighty, so going over to my email here, you can see that the email came through and it says, please find attached your invoice of $235,000. So it pulled in the opportunity amount and it put in the user's name, which is me. And then here we have the invoice attached. Notice that it's a PDF and the invoice name is the name of the opportunity. So let's go ahead and click on it. and we can see the date, today's date. We have the account billing information listed here. And here's where we have all the line items listed. So this line item has 2 products at $100 each with the total over here. The line items are listed, and we've got the grand total listed over here. So now we just saw that I ran the merge and it generated for the 6 opportunities listed here. But what were to happen if we wanted to only send it to one, we only wanted to generate it for one opportunity. So not many people know this, but if I actually go ahead and click on a row here, it turned a little blue. It's a little hard to see, but it turned blue. And in fact, just to drive across my point, I'm going to click on, holding my control key, I'm going to select 3 other rows. So now it's more apparent that they're blue. And when I click merge mail here, you'll see that only 3 records will process. So this is really great. It's a very neat feature. But what if I'm on the sales team and I'm authorized to send invoices and I'm super excited? I just closed a great deal. I want that invoice to go out right away. So I want to be like on the opportunity and send out that invoice. So we're able to create merge button, which sits directly on a record page and allow us to generate the merge. And I will say this does require an Apsona Lightning component to be installed in your Salesforce org. It is free. We do have we'll provide you with the link to that component after today's call. But I already did a pre-work. I installed the app, the Lightning components in my org. So what are we going to do? We're going to go to settings here, and we have our merge actions here. And we're going to select the merge action we just created, and there's a make button option here. The first thing we have to do is tell the system where are we going to put the button. Well, we're going to put it directly on the opportunity. And this is really important because based on what type of merge you're creating and what IDs you have in the report is how or if a document can be merged. In this case, we have the opportunity ID, and we're going to create a lightning button. So let's go ahead and generate it. And we're given this little nifty code, which I'm going to simply copy. Now I'm going to go to setup and go to my lightning record page for the opportunities. So heading over to the Object Manager, again, I'm not going to go into details of Lightning record pages, just going to focus on the Apsona functionality here. So let's go to the opportunities and select the Lightning record page. And so we have all the standard Salesforce components here. And what I now have installed is the Apsona document generation button, which I can then drag wherever I want in my page. So let's go ahead and put it over here. And what you can see on the left, on the right panel is that I can now put in the code. There we go. Okay. I can put in the code that we just copied over for the merge button, and I can say what the button should be called. So I'm calling it email invoice, and this will run the merge action. So great, that's what we want. Let's save. We can activate the page, all of that, which you can do at any time. So now let's go look at an opportunity. And actually, I'm going to show you one more thing, which is that we only want that button to show up when the opportunity is closed won, because otherwise people might accidentally close it and click on it on any opportunity, and it's just taking up space that we don't need. There we go. So on the settings of this component, I can add component visibility based off of this stage. Oh, that's what happens sometimes in Lightning. Okay, let's go here, stage. And I can say only show this when stage equals closed one. Let's go ahead and click save. And so now going back to my opportunity, let's go find an opportunity. Oops, we want an opportunity. Now I have that nifty button here because my opportunity is closed won. That when I click on it, I can now run the merge action and it'll send out the email. Alrighty, so back to my slide deck here. Here I've included some resources which will circulate after today's call, just giving you some quick links to some of the key features we covered in today's demo. And with that, we're going to turn it over to Q&A. I know that Sridhar and Sadhna have been actively monitoring the chat. So I'm going to just see if there's any questions specifically for me, or Sridhar, if you want to send anything my way. This webinar was recorded. We will send out the recording after today's call. This is a good point. Somebody asked if the merge fields can contain like dots or characters, and we recommend that you don't do that. Just use alphabets or numerals, underscores, and spaces. We've got some feature requests here going on. We try not to do PDF attachments, as in our nonprofit world, it means donors really open it, and some of us in this text in our task just see the stuff we want donors reading about our programs. Okay. Is there a video that details making the buttons? Well, now you have one because I just did it. And one of the resources that I linked in the slide deck gives you step-by-step instructions. I don't think there's a video, but there's screenshots and steps. Great, Bob says, this is awesome. So much good info. This is giving me great new ideas for sending donors consolidated giving receipts for January. Great. We're checking the Q&A and the chat. Yes, so somebody asked, can we use this for letters to be mailed? And yes, so I demonstrated an email merge because I find that like people are less, you know, people are always sending snail mail, but are less inclined to send email. And I want to like show you what the features are and get you and incentivize you to go ahead and test out email merges. So I could have done the same function by just doing a print file and then mailing it out. Is there a preview test before it actually goes so one can see a merged PDF in the final email? So I'm gonna give my answer and then let Sridhar take it. As far as I know, there isn't. And what I've done with clients is I've created a replica of the email merge as a print. And so that way you run that merge, you can review it. Everything's good, you'll now send the email. But it's really important that they have to be a replica in order to feel confident in the data. Sridhar, anything you want?
Yeah, there is a test-only option also, which you can use to send an email to just yourself. So if you use test-only, it'll send all the emails to you, to whatever email address you use there.
That is correct. That's something I use a lot as well.
Yes.
Okay, instead of a button like you showed, is it possible to automate generation at the end of the month? So Apsona has a new feature, I don't know how recent, which is the ability to schedule merge actions. It's an add-on. Sridhar, you want to talk about it?
That's correct. It is a scheduled add-on. It's a scheduler add-on that you can use, and you can use it for exactly that purpose. Is to run merge actions on a periodic basis and send their results off.
And you can do that by print or by email, which is pretty neat. How soon after this video ends will the recording be shared? we're all so excited.
Probably within the next hour or two.
Can we convert any merge doc we use for paper letters to an email letter? Not as an attachment, but in the body of the email, like an end of the year email to recurring donors showing all their giving. So I know the answer, but Sridhar, you want to talk about it?
I missed something about the question. Say again.
It's the last one in the chat. Can we convert a merge doc we use for paper letters to an email letter, but not as an attachment? They want it directly in the body of the email.
Go ahead and answer it. I'm missing something obvious here.
Yeah, so when I went through the merge action, one of the first things you do is you select what type of merge you want. So do you want a document? Do you want an Excel? Do you want an email? One of the options is to do an email. I've never personally used it.
I see.
So Sridhar, can you do a sublist in an email
Yes.
merge?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so then the answer is yes. And then somebody asked if you need sysadmin rights in order to run them, to create the button. So yes, because you need to install the Natik components, and that is with sysadmin, and creating the button and the Lightning record pages with sysadmin rights. Okay, I'm going to hop over to the Q&A and then get back to the chat. Let's say they have 4 payments of 25K due at different intervals, and the invoice is for only one of those payments. So that would really depend on your data model. So are those 4 payments on the same opportunity? Maybe we need to like filter the payments to only ones that are current. So you can filter that sublist to be more specific and only show you certain items. We usually get timeouts when working with ops. How can we solve that? I'm gonna jump in and then let Sridhar take this. My guess is that you're working with like a really large amount of opportunities or a lot of fields. And my question to you is, do you need all those opportunities to display at one time? Like a lot of times, maybe we're missing filters and we don't need all of those. But I'm gonna hand it to Sridhar.
That's exactly right. Yep, that's exactly right.
Is there a word for Mac shortcut like the Alt-I-F-M-M on Windows?
I don't know the answer to that one.
Me neither.
I am not a Mac person.
Okay, now people are asking what the actual combination is. So it's, let me just type it in the chat. It's Alt plus I plus F MM. Great. Will we be able to get a recording? Yes. What was the shortcut? Everyone's excited about the shortcuts, Sridhar.
Yes, yes.
Again, can we repeat? Will the recording be shared? Yes, it will. Is there a way to produce a template for Apsona in Mac Pages?
Yes.
The Mac computer.
Yes, but you do need to save it as a docx. You cannot save it as a .pages.
That's the answer.
Yes.
What was the formula again to sum the data in the merge? So it's, I'll put it in the chat also, but it's basically your table name colon field name or merge name. So merge field colon sum. And again, I provided documentation in the slide deck that we'll share after today's call. Does this button work for any user, or do they need to have an Apsona license? Great question. You need to have an Apsona license. They will get an error that if they try to run it. Great. So you would have a field for invoice generated, so accounting wouldn't send the invoice again in a monthly batch if the sales rep already sent it. Yes. So this question is about how I showed the logging options, and you can update fields on the opportunity record. Like using with my use case, I can update a field on the opportunity record, like a checkbox that says invoice true, or maybe invoice state, and we populate the current date. And then you would filter your report to exclude opportunities that are checked off or have the date populated. So we wouldn't send out a second statement, a second invoice. Great question. I regularly create 2 merges, letters and envelopes in the same filter, not from a report, but the documents are generated in different order, meaning I have to manually reorganize the letters and envelopes after printing. Is there a way to choose how to order the documents when generating a mail merge from the filter in Apsona? So as far as I know, the merge will generate in the order of the list or report.
Correct. Correct.
So you might need to change your sort order, and it might be easier for you to do that via report. So you can do it. You can create a report instead and run the merge from there. Yep, I answered that question. Can you add dynamic filters on merge button? Sridhar?
What is a dynamic filter is my question. If we're talking about run parameters, then yes, you can. We have a run parameters mechanism.
So we're gonna, Himanshu, we're gonna need more information.
Yes. Yeah, just shoot us an email. Just any of these questions not answered, please send us an email. We'll follow up.
Apologies if I missed this. When you see the task showing you send the invoice on a record, can you click on that to see the physical invoice that was sent? I believe the answer is yes, because I believe that I've done this in the past. But off the top of my head, Sridhar, do you know the answer to that?
You will need to also attach it to the record. The task itself does not contain the data. You'll need to attach it to the record.
Oh, okay, great. How would you gather multiple invoices that don't include the product detail into a document that could serve as statements? Judy, I'm not sure what the question here is. You can, if we have time, elaborate or shoot us an email. How are we going to get the link to the Lightning component? We'll send it out after today's call. Can you add fields and reports from multiple child objects that are otherwise unrelated and filter on any such fields? Well, by definition, the child objects are related. They're related to whatever object you're working off of. So the answer is yes, but I'm not sure if we understand your question correctly. You can throw it again in the chat. In the Lightning component, will each button represent one template? It'll represent one merge action. Your merge action can have multiple templates if you're using conditional templates. We did a webinar on this in the summer, so you can go check that out. Can a merge email include an attachment that comes from a Salesforce attachment on the record? Yes. One of the options in the logging information is to include attachments from a record. If yes, can it include multiple objects from related child objects? I don't think so. I think it has to be the core objects you're working with. Sridhar?
Correct.
Great. Can these merges be processed through Marketing Cloud? Are you asking if we can email it through Marketing Cloud? I'm not sure what the question there is. Can images be merged into documents either from a formula fill that outputs an image or from a saved image in Salesforce?
Yep.
Yep, that's the answer.
Yep.
Okay, the Lightning button, you do need to have an Apsona user. Does our Salesforce email limit of 5,000 a day apply? Yes. And if you need more, Apsona has like an email add-on, right?
Yes, correct.
Great. Can multiple attachments be merged into a single attachment? So, Sridhar, the question here is if I am in my merge saying to include 3 attachments from the account record, like can they merge into a single attachment?
You can sort of generate a document that includes multiple PDFs into one document. And that I think will serve the same purpose.
Okay. I think we need to turn off the chat. We'll go a few more minutes. Our acknowledgements reports in Salesforce group our donors together by category, giving levels, gift type, first gift, etc. We need to be able to apply custom templates for each of our campaigns with unique campaign codes. Can you apply multiple templates to these reports based on campaign code? Yes. So, like I referenced earlier, I think it was in July or June,
yes.
we did a webinar focusing on conditional templates and conditional logic within templates. Sridhar, maybe you can throw the link in the chat or include it in the email,
I will include it in the
email.
Yes, yes.
So you'll be able to get that.
Yes.
I don't see the information you're typing in the chat. Check your Zoom application. There's a chat that should be blinking and having a pop-up with the information. Is there any history tracking for previous merge actions?
No.
No, so you need to have the log, something logged turned on in order to see the merge, the history. can you simply type those quotes directly in the MS Doc instead of using the merge field shortcut? No. And I highly suggest, like, don't even copy and paste merge fields and like change the naming, because it just gets glitchy, like it doesn't retain properly. So I always suggest, like, I always recommend you directly create the fields, the merge fields. What's the difference between the merge button on the page layout and the lightning component? So once I created the component, the merge button showed up on the page layout. I'm not sure if I understand the question correctly. If not, you can post it again. Can this be set up as a conditional number to review the different invoice type based on field data? Yes, check out our previous webinar for more information. Can we schedule merge actions? No, you need another add-on. So the email and document generator is manual. If you want to schedule the merge action, there's another add-on for that. And Sridhar, it sounds like people are interested in that, so maybe include that.
Yes, I'll include that as well, yes.
Okay, I'm going to take these last two questions from the Q&A. Say an opportunity has two child objects, object 1 and object 2. I want an opportunity report with some fields from object 1 and some from object 2, and I want to filter on both object 1 and object 2. Is this possible? So yes, depending on your use case is whether you can do it directly in Apsona reporting. You might need multi-step reporting. Right, Sridhar?
If it's one parent and two children, you can add filters on both children, right? So that is possible. But like you say, yes, in the more complex case, you will need a multi-step report.
Right, it depends on your use case and which fields and what's dependent on what. Could your sublist report be built on the same object as the main report? Should you use different objects? Yes, it could be, depending on your use case. The most important thing is that your main report should only have one line, one row per record that needs to generate a merge. Your second report should have that sublist, so you might have like a few records. All right, so I'm going to close the Q&A and just go back to the chat for a few more questions. If I create a second button and add it to the op record, it only appears one below the other. Can I align it horizontally? That's a nice feature request. We do email merges based on a Word template, and it does show up in the body of the email, not an attachment. It works well. Great. Thanks, Rachel. Thanks for sharing that. Alrighty. There's a macro on Apsona's website so that the merge arrows around a merge field is just a click. That's true. Sridhar, that might be interesting to send around as well.
Yes.
You can create a macro. Love Apsona in your trainings. I am testing adding the merge button to an opportunities page, but I am not seeing Apsona as an option in the custom section on the opportunity record page. You need to have the app installed. So the button portion is an Apsona Lightning component that you need to separately install. It is completely free, but you do need to install it, and we're going to send out the link after the call.
Yes.
Alrighty, that wraps up the chats and all the questions. Thank you everyone for joining us today. This has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Sridhar and Sadhna, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Rachel. This has been a delight. We really appreciate this. Have a wonderful day. And thanks everyone for joining us. We will send out the recording as soon as it's ready, and very likely within the next couple, 3 hours.
Great.
Have a wonderful day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.